Meanwhile, the occupying army itself is confidently demonstrating negative growth. The pace is impressive. In March alone, Russian troops lost over 35,000 soldiers, and in April, according to preliminary estimates, the number of eliminated Russian soldiers may, for the first time, exceed the monthly mobilization figures. Where will they get new recruits? The resources among former prisoners and the homeless are quickly running out. So now in Russia, you can't even hide from the army in universities. Until recently, universities were a way to avoid military service, but now they are actively looking for reinforcements there as well. Students are being promised money, a career and service not in dirty trenches, but in elite drone units. Our international correspondent Svitlana Chernetska has been investigating how Russian universities are turning into military recruitment offices.
This is the website of the prestigious St. Petersburg State University. Right on the main page, they offer to learn more about serving in the unmanned systems forces. Students are promised academic leave, a profession of the future, and very generous compensation. A salary of $2,000 a month and a $50,000 signing bonus. This is the kind of money that an ordinary Russian would have to save up for years, if not decades. Here's how the university's vice rector promotes military service at a meeting with students.
In addition, those who are studying on a paid basis will be transferred to state-funded education after completing their service, or they will be given a 100% discount on tuition fees.
And this isn't just patriotism or eagerness to please the authorities. This is an order from the Ministry of Education. According to human rights activists, all Russian universities have been required to send 2% of their students to the army. And this is only part of a broader system. Such quotas are also assigned to regions, government institutions, and even enterprises. In fact, everyone is required to provide their share of new recruits.
This was one of the methods young men used to avoid going into the army. They would enroll in a master's program in Russia, and in many cases they didn't even intend to attend classes. So this is an attempt to reach those people who don't want to serve, to force them to enlist in the military one way or another. But this is probably also a huge opportunity for corruption. If you pay the dean or the vice rector, then no one will bother you.
Military personnel of various ranks have started visiting educational institutions across the country more frequently. Everyone is praising the new opportunities for boys and girls.
The 21st century is robotic and striving upwards. Right now, we need to lay the foundation of unmanned systems in every boy so that in the future we can minimize the human reserve.
This is the main promise to students, not to send them to dirty trenches, but to elite unmanned forces. They say the contract is only for a year and far from the front line.
Right now, there is a lot of information that Russian soldiers have to pay their commanders in order to survive. So it's possible that you'll only stay in the drone unit for a short time. And then, if you don't pay a bribe, you'll quickly end up on the front line.
And it seems that Russian youth are aware of the possible nuances of service because they are in no hurry to join the drone forces. Listen to how the director of a college in Novosibirsk laments when not a single student volunteered for the army.
The motherland demands it. You should have some fear. So are we going to come back in a zinc coffin or what? Where does this fear come from? Who instilled this fear? And who will defend us? What, are you all cowards here? You just sit there afraid. Unbelievable how you tremble for your own lives.
For a long time, university students in Russia were able to avoid their patriotic duties and responsibilities. War was the fate of the lower social classes, the working class, and provincial residents. So it's no surprise that now even these comparatively privileged members of society who study on government scholarships are being drawn into the military effort.
Play like an adult. Enlisting in the army is being marketed as an easy pastime. They say, after all, you like playing video games. This is the same thing, only not virtual and for free, but in a real war and for big money.
There is now plenty of evidence that Russia is using certain devious tactics to force people to enlist in the army. The most vulnerable groups are being forcibly recruited: debtors, socially isolated individuals, and those who are easy to pressure. Now, students have been added to this list as well. All of this is a continuation of the strategy to maximize the diversification of recruitment sources. This system also includes foreign mercenaries and prisoners.
After 4 years of war, forced mobilization has finally reached the capital.
Moscow is a dangerous city for conscripts. Many people have already realized this. Police raids and sweeps, detentions in the metro, legal arbitrariness. And all of this is for the sake of fulfilling conscription quotas. The escalation continues. Each new draft becomes even harsher, and the raids more brutal than before.
Various methods are being used just to avoid announcing a general mobilization.
He is dragging it out. He avoids making this obviously unpopular decision. He doesn't want to repeat September of 2022, when 1 million Russians fled, yes, to Georgia, to Armenia, to Kazakhstan on foot. I think he will avoid a large formal draft. Everyone, everything for the front, everything for victory, and he will squeeze it out like that, either through universities or from certain governors, little by little taking people, and of course lowering even further the medical requirements.
My right leg is amputated below the knee, but they are sending me to the front line.
Sending disabled people to the front and recruiting students is definitely an indicator that not everything is going according to plan in the search for new recruits, especially since the statistics are also being adjusted by the armed forces of Ukraine. Previously, Russia managed to recruit about 30,000 people per month, but now that's no longer enough. Monthly losses reach 35,000, and since January, they have exceeded the rate of recruitment.
Signing 1,000 daily as their goal simply cannot do. Even 1,000 alcoholics and homeless people a day is no longer possible. So, in other words, it still seems to me that our myth about Russia's endless supply of manpower is a bit unrealistic, because most, if everyone who wanted to go has already gone and died, and everyone who didn't want to go has been dragged in, now they're pulling in people from the very bottom, social outcasts, right? And then there are a couple of students who, got into trouble in their courses. But to recruit 30,000 people like that per month, or even to bring it up to 50,000, well, in my opinion, those are very large numbers.
Therefore, the hidden mobilization will continue and expand, reaching places where it hasn't been before: universities, technical schools, and colleges. Svetlana Chernetska, details, Inter TV channel, United News Marathon.